Now, I'm currently recording in my studio on my portable setup here, and today I only have a few minutes to broadcast. So what do I want to talk about? And it's this thing, and you know what? That's what I went to go upstairs for. I went upstairs so that I would get, so I would be able to bring down this thing that Stephanie had just bought me. What she found was these little tiny wood block signs. It's probably about 2 inches high and probably about 1.5 feet long. And it says, "Don't quit your daydream." Yeah, don't quit your daydream. You know, what most people have heard throughout all their life, you know, it's like, hey, I have a passion for this topic, or hey, I want to be a stand-up comedian, or hey, I would love to be a singer or something like that. I always heard people do this, and they would demonstrate their talent. And what's the common phrase that people say? Don't quit your day job, right? So this is the bad thing that we've got going on in our life. We've been told over and over again that we should not even consider quitting our day job. We have been programmed from early childhood that there is only one path for us, and it's the path of the employee. And so I loved this quote when Stephanie texted it to me. I said, "You have to get that sign, buy that sign," and she did. She brought it home for me. Stephanie and I are going to be hosting our very first conference, an official conference, 350 people next September. It's going to be September 7th, 8th, and 9th in Franklin, Tennessee next year. And it's going to be designed for people who have lived a lifetime as an employee. These people who have, you know, become even very successful at what they do. They may be in the top of their industry, or potentially they might just be struggling along and surviving as an employee. Either way, here's who my target audience is, or our target audience for this conference. It's for those people who have created a podcast, a blog, a YouTube channel. Maybe they've just created a Facebook live show, but they created some kind of content to put out into the world because, well, they felt like they needed to do something that was a little bit more fulfilling in life than their day job. All right? You know, they have, these people, when they started their podcast, their blog, or whatever thing it is that they started, when they started it, they did not have the dream of, I'm going to escape this, because, well, the reality, that dream has been beaten out of them from early childhood. You know, when you're a kid, everybody says, who do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? But when you become an adult, that question is off the hook. No, you can't answer that question. You can't even dream about that question anymore, because there's only one responsible path for you. You know, I was telling my friend Lauren Brady about this the other day, and I'm going to pull up a quote, if I can find it here real quick. I want to read this to you. You guys are going to see me just looking off screen as I read this to you, but check this out. This is from an author named Robert McCammon. So you guys probably know who Robert McCammon is. I'd never heard of the guy before, but the book is Boy's Life. All right, so supposedly this is a very popular book, very influential in a lot of people's lives. This is the first time I had ever heard of it after telling my event planners what my dream and what my vision for this first conference that I'm going to do. And she says, Cliff, after we got off the phone, after we got off our meeting, I was reminded of this quote, and I went and looked it up, and I want to share this with you. Listen to this. It says, "See, this is my opinion. We all start out knowing magic. We were born with whirlwinds, forest fires, and comets inside of us. We are born able to sing to the birds and read the clouds and see our destiny in grains of sand. But then we get the magic educated out of us." Or actually it says we get the magic educated right out of our souls. You see, I believe, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to come back, but I do believe that. I believe inside our soul there is a dream that was placed in us. We were created for a purpose on this earth. I believe that we were created to use our unique gifts, our unique abilities to serve this world in a certain way. We are able to dream about this as kids. We're able to, anything. We're told that you can be anything you want when you grow up. but we're not told that once you enter the high school path or the college path. All right, so here's the thing, but we get the magic. Okay, so he calls it magic, but I call it that daydream inside of us, those dreams. That's what I'm considering to be the magic here. He says, but then we get the magic educated right out of us, or right out of our souls. We get it churched out. Yes, we get it churched out of us. We get it combed out. We get put on the straight and narrow and told to be responsible. All right? We're told to act our age. We're told to grow up for God's sake. And sometimes we're literally told to do it for God's sake, as though God needs us to, or else he can't be God. Whatever. Anyway, I'm adding my own stuff on here, right? And you know why we're told that? Because the people doing the telling were afraid of our wildness and youth, and because the magic we knew made them ashamed and sad of what they'd allowed to wither inside themselves. How about that? My friends, so here's the deal. My conference that I want to do is for people who have lived the life of the employee. Now, I believe that there are many people who were created and put on this earth to be thriving employees. I don't think there's anybody who is created to be a surviving employee. But I believe some people, and many people even who follow me, were put on this earth to be employees. But I believe they were meant to thrive, that they also should be daydreaming inside about how they can take their life and their professional life to the next level as an employee. But specifically, this conference, I'm reaching out to those who have created this content. They've created a blog, they created a YouTube channel, a video platform or podcast or whatever the case may be. They created it because they felt like they had some kind of magic inside of them, some kind of message, if you will, inside of them that they felt compelled to put into the world. And as a result of creating that content, all of a sudden, something awakened inside. Something that went dormant after all of that stuff that they've been told to stuff down inside that's not responsible. Something irresponsible started to well up inside of them. And then one day, this is what happened. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, they go to work and a thought popped into their head. And that thought says this. And by the way, many of them, I know this happened to me. I was afraid to actually even think the thought, let alone speak it out loud. But that thought is this, and I bet you, some of you watching live right now, some of you watching this on my YouTube channel, you've had this thought. After creating this content, putting your message into the world, seeing the positive impact that it's having in the lives of other people, and this thought popped out of nowhere, you didn't know where it came from, and also you feel like it's a very irresponsible thought, you might even be afraid to say it out loud, but that thought is this: I wonder what life would be like if I did this for a living instead. That, my friends, that's who my conference is meant to reach. Now, the reality is that there are so many people out there who have created conferences and events devoted to this target audience, those who want to be entrepreneurs, people who have lived the lifetime as an employee, but are now seeing that, you know what, the path for me that I would like to pursue is being self-employed, being my own director of life, being the person responsible for my own calendar and the things that I say yes to and the things that I say no to. And yes, there's all kinds of risks out there, but man, I really fully embrace, I don't need easy, I just need worth it. And so for those people, there are lots of conferences, and there's tons of conferences out there that'll teach those people how to niche down. There's conferences out there that will teach them, what are the steps that you need to go through to successfully launch your business, to grow your audience, to pick all that stuff out. Which, by the way, November 3rd and 4th, I have a workshop that teaches all of this stuff. It's called Building an Online Business. You can go, it's a next level workshop here inside of my studio space, my training space, called the Next Level Studio. Let me show you real quickly. I'll pull you over here. It's in this space right behind me, all right? So now, of course, it looks blurry for those of you watching on YouTube because I have the special lens going on here. But yeah, right here, November 3rd and 4th, we'll teach you all those things, like the step-by-step thing, how to build your business. We're going to talk to you about your mailing list strategy, and if you haven't started it, how to get it started. For those of you who have a mailing list strategy and you feel like, oh gosh, I don't need a session on mailing list, you're gonna get through this session and find out why. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I sat in on this this mailing list session. I never thought about my mailing list in that way before. I have training for all of this stuff. And by the way, if you're interested in that, podcastanswerman.com/next-level-workshop. podcastanswerman.com/next-level-workshop is where you can sign up for that. But the conference that's in September of 2018, September 7th, 8th, and 9th, I don't even have a name for it yet. I'm working on that. But specifically, this conference isn't going to be just another conference that talks about all the tips, tools, techniques, strategies for building your business. No, you know why? Because there are so many people that I've seen going to these conferences. I spoke at every single platform conference that Michael Hyatt and Ken Davis ever put together. I've been to SCORE conference after SCORE conference. I've been to all these social media conferences. I've been to every podcast movement conference. I've been to every single social media marketing world conference. I've been to conferences all around the world reaching these people who are wanting to build a business around their passion. And you know what I see year after year? A lot of the same people. And I see the people who succeed, but the majority of those people that I see year after year after year are showing up, still looking for the keys, still looking for the answers, and the reality is they've already been given the step-by-step instructions on what they should do, but they're still not doing it. And this conference that Stephanie and I are going to host in September 2018, 7th, 8th, and 9th, next year, we are going to create a conference that's going to help people understand why they're not taking action on the things they already know they should be doing. We're going to help people understand what their limiting beliefs are that are holding them back. Now, some of you understand what a limiting belief is. And many of you already know not only what a limiting belief is, you already understand and recognize some of the limiting beliefs that you already hold that are holding you back, but you're struggling to break free from them. Now, this conference, we're going to help you uncover some of those limiting beliefs that you don't yet know about, that you actually have, that are keeping you back from achieving the success that is immediately available to you in life. And more importantly than just helping you uncover what limiting beliefs you have, we're going to teach you how to break free from them. And the second purpose of this conference is to help you understand how you yourself are responsible for putting roadblocks in your own life that are keeping you from financial success. And it has everything to do with your conditioning and your programming and everything you've been taught to think and feel about money, wealth, and abundance. All right? And trust me, this is a big one. This is the one area of my life that is consistently being expanded and expanded and expanded. And every time I work on this area of understanding, why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way about this amount of money? And when I feel this way, I feel compelled to shrink back, to stay in my comfort zone. And why is that? Well, I'm going to help you understand how when I started my online business, 2008, I only made $11,000 in personal income that year. But then in 2010, I made a significant amount more than that, but still was really struggling. But then in 2011, I doubled my income. In 2012, I tripled my income. And then in 2013, I doubled my income. And this has been going on and on and on as a result of just reprogramming the way that I think about money, and more importantly, how I feel about money, and whether or not I feel like it's a worthy pursuit to have money. Anyway, these are the kind of things we're going to cover. I'm going to throw out a name out there, and I'm going to say this name, and some of you are going to have all sorts of different reactions, but the name is Tony Robbins. And I've been aware of Tony Robbins for years, and a couple years ago, about 2.5 years ago, Stephanie and I were encouraged to go to a conference that he put together called Unleash the Power Within. And I went to this event with an open mind and an open heart to see what I could learn. And before I went and I actually purchased a couple $100 worth of Tony Robbins materials and studied them. And I just now see that my little battery indicator light is going on my Canon M6. I should have put a new battery in before I started today. But anyway, hopefully we'll make it through this thing. So when I went to this event for Tony Robbins, my mind was blown by all the limiting beliefs that I had. And once I learned how to eliminate those, my life was, I was a different person after one weekend at Unleash the Power Within. I know that sounds crazy, and I know some people think, well, you went there for 3 days or 4 days, you were brainwashed. Well, maybe my brain needed some washing because there was some really bad stuff stuck into my brain from early childhood that I needed to get rid of. And I did come out a different person. And what I've achieved in the last 2.5 years is mind-blowing. And really, that weekend has set me on course for what's coming next in my life. For those of you who have been watching over the last 3 or 4 weeks, as I've been talking about the big leap, all the insights that I've gotten from that, the fact that I'm shutting down podcasting A to Z after 8 years of successfully responsibly generating more than $240,000 a year in income from that, and I'm pursuing something completely different. Yeah, all of that's coming from that weekend. And here's the thing. I want to create that experience in this conference next year. September 7th, 8th, and 9th. I don't even have a sales page yet. I don't have a name for the conference yet, but I have a vision for the conference, and I want you to be there. If you are interested in this conference and you want to be notified as soon as this conference is available for a ticket sale, which, by the way, I'm going to tell you right here, it's $1,000 per person for the standard ticket. There'll be a VIP option available as well, but it's $1,000 to get into the ticket. That's an important number because I will tell you, something changed inside of me when I paid what I paid for Tony Robbins' event, which was I think it was around $2,000 a ticket, and I bought myself and Stephanie 2 tickets. I bought 2 tickets, one for myself and one for Stephanie. Plus, I specifically chose to fly Stephanie and I to Dallas, Texas, first class, and put us in a super awesome hotel. So there's a reason for the price of the ticket. And that will become very evident for those who actually come to the event. And I'll talk more about it in content coming up. But if you're interested in learning more about this conference and when the tickets go on sale, just based upon what I'm sharing here, then email me, cliff@podcastanswerman.com, put conference in the subject line, and I will add you to the list because there's only going to be, I think it's probably going to be limited to 300 people for my first event. And I'm just going to end here because my battery on my M6 is going to crash here in a second, and also in 3 minutes I'm supposed to leave to go see a movie with my family. So I'm going to just end here and tell you that ever since I went to that conference, there's been this vision or this dream in my mind that one day I will be hosting stadium-style events. And I'm not afraid to say this out loud. I'm not actually all that concerned or even concerned at all with what any of you will think when I say this. But I truly believe that what I've been put on this earth to do is to I don't want to be Tony Robbins, okay? But if you understand who Tony Robbins is and what he does in unleashing a dream or a passion or some sort of power that they have inside of them that's dormant and awakening that for them to become who God created them to be, I want to be that for the next generation. That's where I'm going. Who are you? What do you want to be? No. Who do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you want to be when you grow? And if you're 57 years old, if you're 75 years old, it doesn't matter. The question still stands. Who do you want to be when you grow up? And whatever you do, don't quit your daydream.